Hey friends, welcome to the In Focus podcast, a show for photographers who are looking to grow and scale a photography business that feels good. I'm your host, Gina, a wedding and elopement photographer, industry educator, coach, and most importantly, your friend. On this show, we'll dive into actionable strategies, industry trends, and all things photography related so you can leave each episode feeling inspired and in focus. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the In Focus podcast. I'm your host, Gina. And today we're getting laser focused on a few marketing mistakes you might be making. Because here's the deal. If your work is strong, but your inbox is quiet, there's probably a disconnect in your marketing strategy. The good news is that most of the time, it's not about needing a total marketing overhaul. It's usually just a few small but impactful shifts that can make a huge difference in your business and your inbox. So in this episode, I'm walking you through 4 common marketing mistakes that you might be making right now and how you can fix each of them in 15 minutes or less. These are easy, they're practical, and they will help you get seen, get booked, and show up more confidently online. So let's dive in. All right, mistake number 1. Your bio or homepage headline is vague. So what I want you to do is go to your Instagram and your homepage and read the first few things you can see on there out loud. I want you to read them out loud. When I'm talking about vague, if you at all read the following sentence, capturing life's special moments or creating timeless memories, then I'm talking about you or something along those lines. While it sounds good, it does not tell your potential client what you do or who you do it for. So here's how to fix that in under 15 minutes. We're going to open up your Instagram and your website. We're going to update your bio and your headline to clearly state your location, your specialty, and who your ideal client is or who you serve. So for example, Seattle wedding and elopement photographer. I'm Gina, helping adventurous couples feel confident and connected on camera. That's one example. See how clear that is? Right away, your dream client knows that you're for them. Let's do another one. Gina Paulson, Portland wedding photographer, intentional wedding photography in Oregon. Another one. International wedding photographer Gina Paulson, editorial wedding photography for iconic couples. And another one. PNW adventure elopement photographer Gina Paulson, capturing small weddings and elopements filled with intention. See how these all told you exactly where I am, and who I serve? All right, once you get this updated, I want you to also add a CTA, a call to action. Something like now booking 2025 weddings, inquire below, or booking weddings 2026, or ready to travel, inquire below, etc. So when your ideal client stumbles upon you, they know exactly what to do next and how to work with you. Here's a pro tip. I want you to think about what a brand new person sees in the first 5 seconds of visiting your page. That's your Instagram page and your website homepage. Would they know exactly what you do, who you serve, and how to take this to the next step in regards to booking? All right, let's move into mistake number 2. And this one is sneaky. You're trying to speak to everyone. And I get it, especially when bookings feel slow. We want to keep the door open to any potential client. But when you try to speak to everyone, you connect with no one. So let's fix that. I want you to go look at your last 5 Instagram captions. Look at the post, read the caption. And I want you to ask yourself, am I writing to a specific person or am I keeping it safe in general? Instead of saying something like, I love this shoot so much, I want you to try getting a lot more specific and clear on why you love that shoot. And that's going to allow you to connect with couples just like that. Something like, working with adventurous couples like Sarah and Mike reminds me why I love elopements in the Pacific Northwest. These intimate moments in nature totally light me up. Using words that your dream clients use. So if your couples are outdoorsy and carefree, speak that language. If they value luxury and attention to detail, lean into that vibe. If you need help with this, I use ChatGPT all the time to remind me to get really clear with specific audiences. I often describe to him my ideal, I like that I call him a him. I often describe to ChatGPT my ideal client in a few sentences, and then I ask it to write me a few social media captions or posts that would speak directly to that. So here's an exact prompt that I've used before. I'm a wedding photographer for couples getting married in the Pacific Northwest who value how their wedding is preserved, care about the details, and want to make sure their wedding is one that is remembered. My couples enjoy the outdoors, aren't afraid to relax and laugh out loud, and value relationships. I want to attract higher budget couples without losing that heartfelt, down to earth vibe. They're looking for a trusted expert, a refined experience, and someone who just gets it without needing to be told. Help me draft 5 social media posts this week that speak directly to them and their current needs and wants when searching for a photographer who can capture their day. So then ChatGPT is going to give me 5 examples, and I don't necessarily copy and paste these into Instagram, but they get me thinking like, okay, what do I need to say to speak directly to this client that is like my ideal client, my dream client, to connect with them, and what are their needs and wants right now, and what are their fears, and can I reassure them on those fears and that kind of stuff. It gets kind of your juices thinking in a creative and a really specific way. Something like that might help you get really clear on those captions and leaning into a really specific person that you're talking to. Pro tip, if you go through past testimonials from like Google, or even just if people have emailed you or contacted you after a wedding and just talked about what they liked or enjoyed, use the phrases that they used. So use the language in your own captions and in your own web copy, because it will sound familiar and reassuring to the next potential client that's just like them. Okay, mistake number 3. You're only posting your photos and nothing else. Listen, I know your work is beautiful, but people are hiring you for an experience, not just a portfolio. People want to know what it feels like to work with you. Are you calming and confident behind the camera? Do you help them pose? Do you crack jokes and keep it light? We want to give a couple a look behind the curtain, even if it's just a peek. Let them connect with you and your experience. I'm going to give you an example of this that's not in our industry, but it totally relates. So this year, I wanted to learn a new skill, something outside of my normal skill set. I wanted to do it with friends because that's always better too. So eventually, I decided that I wanted to learn how to decorate cookies. You know, the fancy ones that are like gorgeous and themed, and they cost like $6 a cookie if you order a custom one? Anyways, I wanted to do that, and I wanted to learn it with my friends. So I went on a search to find a baker that I could book to come to my house and teach my cookie class with my friends. I started on Instagram with searching custom cookies in my city, and a bunch of custom cookie accounts popped up. Awesome, I thought. So I started going through their Instagram profiles, reading their bios, seeing what they offered, and a few of them actually did mention cookie classes and or education. So I was like, okay, great. This is actually a thing. I was down to 3 local bakers who had beautiful cookies, and they also mentioned classes or education. So between the 3, I started to look for what it would be like to book them. Like, what did I need to provide, and what kind of space did I need to provide, and how much experience did we really need? Like, did we have to actually know anything about baking, or could we just be total noobs and beginners, etc.? So one of them actually had 0 posts or info or details on what booking her for this would actually be like. It literally just said like education on baking or something in her bio, but nothing else. The other one had a little messy website page about how to book and what's included. So I was like, okay, well, at least there's information and I know what I'm paying for. Okay, the third girl that baked had 2 posts on her Instagram. They were carousels. One of them was a photo of her, and it had like text overlay, and it broke down what's included in her custom cookie classes. I was already sold after that one post. I was like, this is exactly what I was looking for. Now I know what's included. And the way she broke it down too was like, it wasn't just like bullet points of a custom cookie kit. It was like, I'll bring the laughs and the dough and you bring the friends or something like that. It was like really personable, allowed you to connect with her, and just kind of gave you that trust that like she knows she's bringing this experience to your group of friends. I was like, perfect. So I was already sold off of that one, but I did scroll down on her page and there was a reel a few down, and it was like small snippets behind the scenes at one of her actual like cookie classes. And it showed her teaching, and it showed like people laughing and making cookies. And she brought like this projector so everyone could see what she was doing, and then they could watch and learn at their own little cookie station. And then she prepared like little cookie kits. So she showed like a little quick little video of an overlay of what was in her cookie kit. And again, it just showed people were having a great time and they were laughing and they were smiling, and I was sold. So I booked her, and it was so awesome. So all this to say, what sold me on her was not her cookies, because all of the cookie pages that I looked at were amazing and beautiful, but it was her experience and the way she allowed me to trust that experience from what she had available to me on her social media. So here's your fix. Take 15 minutes to write a one story-based Instagram caption. Try something like this. So from our first Zoom call to the final gallery delivery, I want my couples to feel cared for. For Jess and Drew's forest wedding, I helped them plan the timeline, brought backup umbrellas, and made sure they got a quiet moment together before the reception. It was magic, and exactly the kind of experience I strive to create for every couple. So see how I let them put themselves in the shoes of this couple and talked about the experience from the beginning through the end. And really, you could make this like 10 carousel post slide talking about different points of your client experience, but that's just a really simple example. Another idea would just be to use some BTS footage you have, or if you don't have any, at your next wedding or shoot, plan to get some on what it's like working with you. So maybe you get some behind the scenes footage and talk about what you're doing while the client is enjoying champagne and laughing with their friends and getting ready for their wedding day. And what are you doing? Or that kind of thing. How do you make their day easier? Show that off with some behind the scenes footage. Building on this, you could also add a client experience highlight to your Instagram. So, like at the top where there's those little highlights, maybe have client experience. And it's just like a bunch of either posts or stories or behind the scenes of just like you interacting with your clients and everybody having a great time and like loving each other and that kind of vibe. Another one would be to create a short behind the scenes reel, like I mentioned, that just shows, like, again, what is it like? Why are you special? Why do I want to be around you and work with you and trust you? And I also think that on your website, having a what to expect section, I'm not necessarily saying like a full page, maybe at the bottom of the investment page or somewhere on that page, a section that talks about what it's like working with you. And don't just talk about you're going to show up and shoot the wedding day and deliver the photos in an online gallery and blah, blah, blah. What is it actually like? You're going to get in touch with them and help them build out their timeline and make sure that they feel confident in front of the camera, because you're going to be giving them so many cues on posing and prompts, just making sure that they're laughing and having a great time the whole time. And then when they get their photos back, they're just going to feel like so at ease knowing that their experience was just so fun with you and they felt so relaxed and they can't believe how great the photos turned out and how natural they look because they were so nervous. Answer all of those questions for them in this part of your website. A pro tip. Okay, people buy with emotion. So when you share the experience that you deliver, not just the results, it helps potential clients see themselves in your process and a part of your work. All right, our last one and tip number 4 is going to be that you are not making it easy for people to take the next step with you. I can't tell you how many photographers I've seen with gorgeous work, but I had to click through 4 pages to find a contact form. If it's confusing or inconvenient to reach out, you are losing bookings. So let's make it simple. First, add your inquiry link to your Instagram bio. Literally in one click from your bio, they should be able to get in touch with you via email. Second, make sure your contact form is clearly linked on your homepage, ideally above the fold. And honestly, there should just be a contact me or an inquire here or book now button, like at the very top of your homepage before they scroll. So just make sure that button is there. Like it should be easy to read, very clear. It should stand out. And then third, add a book now or let's chat button on your pricing guide PDF. Personally, I think the phrase DM to book does not communicate elevated, professional, or higher end pricing. So while I love having conversations in my DMs, I would push a wedding inquiry into my emails like immediately. And I don't promote DMing me to book, DMing me to talk about that kind of stuff. Does it happen? Sure, but I do not post that. It's not part of my bio. And I don't recommend it. I just feel like when it says DM to book or chat in the DMs about booking or whatever, it just starts to feel really casual. And yes, I want my presence, like when we are together, to feel casual. I want to feel like a friend. But when it comes to the booking process and my service, it should feel professional. So they want to know that their 5, 7, 10K dollars of money that they've earned and that they're going to be paying me is going to someone who is trustworthy, reliable, and a professional. Pro tip, use a mobile-friendly tool like BioSite, Linktree, Milkshake, or even a custom mobile site to streamline your booking funnel. So I use BioSite because it's easy, but I also just think building out a page on your website designed for mobile is a great option here. So that would be a custom site. So on your Instagram bio, the link that you put there is going to some sort of mobile optimized site that is designed for phones that has these links on it. So you want your potential client to feel like the next step is obvious and easy. All right, so quick episode, but let's recap the 4 mistakes that we covered today. First one was vague bios and headlines. We're going to fix them to clearly show what you do and who you do it for. The second one was generic messaging. Niche down and speak directly to your ideal client. Third one was only posting photos. Share the story and the experience behind you and your brand and your business. And the fourth one was hard to find inquiry paths. Make it ridiculously easy to get in touch with you. None of these fixes take more than 15 minutes, but together they can make a huge difference in how you show up and connect with the people who are already looking for someone just like you. So here's your challenge. I want you to pick one of these and go fix it today. Then come tell me about it. Find me on Instagram at Gina Paulson, screenshot this episode, tag me, whatever, and just let me know which fix you tackled. If this episode was helpful at all, make sure you're subscribed because I've got more marketing and growth strategy coming your way soon. Thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next episode. Until then, keep smiling and stay focused.